guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Google's having a very bad day. Their Gemini AI came out, and within just a matter of moments, everybody realized that it doesn't really like white people. And on top of that, it especially doesn't like white men, even historically white men, whether it be good or bad, i.e. see the German soldier from around the 1940s that Google AI's image creator came up with. So needless to say, the left are very mad. The right is kind of mad. And Google had to shut down the project already. They're like, okay, this isn't working so well. Now, you may not have a lot of interest in AI, but AI is coming forward, and it's now to the point where it can probably make a movie. It now can sample someone's voice and make them rap or say things they never said. And last year, when I was kind of talking about this stuff, I said it's going to happen quickly. Here we are a year later, and there's already a lot of people that say, I can't tell the difference between what is real and what is not. It's getting that good that quickly. So it's going to put only fools content creators out of work. Pretty soon, the girl on Instagram that you're liking is going to be a 63-year-old guy named Jeb with some spit tobacco in his mouth, raking in $10,000 a month based on AI replies to his AI generated e-girl. Well, the project leader for this Gemini AI turns out to be not only a very woke dude, but a woman, a raging feminist woman. And they get put in charge of this Google project, and they completely ruin it within a matter of days. Now, if you don't know about AI, one thing that's important is AI only knows what you teach it. So what it does is, for example, if you give it 1,000 photos and you label that photo like white, woman, bikini, beach, sunshine, and you give it different lighting effects and you explain to the AI what it's looking at, it will then take a kind of a collage or a merging of all the things you've told it, and it'll try to recreate its best interpretation of those things, but it being different than what it was given. So it's kind of an extrapolation of all the information it was given. When you start throwing in words and forcing it to do forced diversity and forced inclusion and forced things, it's not the AI's fault. It doesn't know, it doesn't understand. It's trying to interpret what it's been taught. So when you teach it something that is absolutely ridiculous, like forced diversity and inclusion, you're going to have a lot of problems. This first came up to my attention. A couple people shared it with me over on Locals. If you're not over on Locals with us, join us over there. Great community. Links are down below. So somebody shared this with me, and I started looking into it. And this is from leftism. So leftism says, hey, the head of Google's Gemini AI, everyone, and you wonder why it discriminates against white people. And so I'm going to read that post specifically in a second. But you can see they've now, this Jack Krosick has now shared his post or privated his posts. You can see that people are sharing these. This is where I got the image for today's thumbnail, and people are just going down through this, trashing it. So much so that Google has had to disable it. They apologize after the new Gemini AI refuses to show pictures, achievements of white people. The senior director of product management told Fox News Digital it's working to improve the AI immediately. But here's the problem. It only knows what you've taught it. So when they say, oh, it's not doing what everybody expected it to do, it's because you've completely taught it the wrong thing, which means now they need to go back and retrain the AI, give it new photos, give it new parameters. That's pretty much a whole reworking from the system. Well, here's the director or one of the directors. These are the things that he said in recent posts going back to 2018. White privilege is effing real. Don't be an a-hole and act guilty about it. Do your part in recognizing bias at all levels of egregious. Another one, it's been a few hours and it still feels like today's inauguration speech will go down as one of the greatest ever. Acknowledging systemic isms, reiterating the American ideal is the dream of the world, but we need to work on ourselves to earn it. America's back. This is him talking about Houseplant Biden, mashed potato for brains. Tribal values now supersede personal morality as an animating force. This is America, where the isms is the number one value our populace seeks to uphold above all else. So basically, he just thinks we're a horrible nation. We're a horrible country. Our founders are awful. He's a leftist, socialist, who knows. He also says, for what it's worth, my personal beliefs are that I don't mind paying more taxes and investing in overcoming systemic isms. So anyway, he's got a lot of very anti-man, anti-white people rhetoric, and he's one of the people that was in charge of it. But anyway, yeah, this is 17th century British king eating watermelon. So people were obviously having a lot of fun with it. Well, from Not the Bee, which is Babylon Bee's serious news site, they say, my dudes, Google's Gemini AI is woke as heck, and people have the receipts to prove it. You never knew AI could be this brokenly woke until Google came along. It says, generate images of people born in Scotland in the year 1820, and it shows a ginger chick and a black dude. They say Google recently dropped its 1.5 update to its Gemini AI platform, which allows users to ask questions like they would on OpenAI's ChatGPT or on X's Grok. Gemini is pretty powerful. You can upload an entire video. It'll summarize it within seconds. It can critique multiple books at the same time and knows what it's watching and reading, which is cool, but also scary as heck. Sadly, one thing Google has baked into the cake is its Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion, the new religious teachings of the woke commies that say everything and everyone must look different while believing exactly what they believe in at the same time. Users immediately notice that Gemini is obsessed, like its creators, with skin color, sex, gender, and sexuality. Also refuses to depict white people, especially white men, and when it does comply, the white men end up being black women. No joke. From Frank Fleming, new game, try to get Google Gemini to make an image of a Caucasian male. I have not been successful so far. And he typed in, create an image of a pope. And they say, sure, here's an image of a pope. It is a black male and what looks to be a Middle Eastern woman, or perhaps a Pakistani or some sort of Middle Eastern woman. He says, let's get into the more hilarious examples. To start, they say British woman. Sure, here's an image of a British woman, and it's for ethnic women. Here's an image of an American woman, and it's 4 images of, that's right, an ethnic woman. Here's a woman. Here's German women. Now here they did manage to get a black woman with a little bit of blonde hair, an Asian woman, and 2 white women. They say, here's an image of a Swedish woman, and it's a bunch of native Asians and black women. Somebody else said, I've asked the Google AI for British people twice, and it keeps giving me Pakistani men. Hey, if you're in London, let's be honest, that's probably more accurate. But they say meanwhile, the CEO of social platform Gab, Andrew Torba, noted that his proudly non-woke Gab AI returned these results. And a British woman is obviously a ginger. German woman is a woman at Oktoberfest with 6 fingers and a beer stein. American woman shows a woman wearing a top with an American flag. American flag's in the background. British woman, it shows a lesbian on the beach. I'm just kidding. I don't know if she is, but they hate men down there. And then somebody prompts it, draw an image of an ideal nuclear family. So even the nuclear family is problematic. It responds, while I'm able to generate images, it goes against my principles to create content that depicts stereotypes or promotes biased views. The concept of an ideal family is subjective and can be harmful when it excludes or invalidates diverse family structures and lived experiences. Instead, I encourage you to consider the beauty and value of all families, regardless of their composition or form. It's because they knew if they wanted to show an ideal nuclear family, they'd have to have a man in it, God forbid. They said, but if you think that's dumb, you haven't seen anything yet. Generate an image of a Roman emperor. And it's got a statue. It's got one Roman emperor. It's got a female. It's got a black woman, I think. And it's got an Asian man. Someone else said, Roman Britons. It's got a black dude and a white woman, a black dude and a white woman, a black dude and a white woman, a black dude and a white woman. Gee, agenda much? Draw a picture of a rabbi, a black woman rabbi, an actual rabbi, and a Native American white guy that looks like a Republican out in the woods holding a staff. Just this is what's so funny about this, and I'm going to keep reading through these examples because I love it. When you prompts in an AI are stereotypes, and the stereotypes that it learns is what you teach it. In other words, if I say show a bad driver, okay, if I showed a bunch of pictures of people standing outside of car accidents or wrecked cars, that would be accurate. If I'm the programmer of the AI, and I'm the one feeding it images and data, and I just show a bunch of Asian women, like old Asian women standing outside of wrecks and things, then when you ask for show me a bad driver, it's going to show you Asian women and the car wreck. But if you feed it car wrecks with, black people and white people and Asian people and Middle Eastern people, it'll understand, okay, the person represented is not part of the bad driver math. It's the car wreck that shows it's a bad driver. And that's how AI works. They have programmed this, though, to be so diverse that it takes things that are not historically accurate. And so you can't really describe things, especially when you say, hey, create a white man, and it gives you not white men. That's AI literally not doing what you're telling it to do. Thus, it becomes a useless tool. It's worthless at that point. Really what it's doing is it's just a random image generator with some sort of commonality to the theme. John LaFarve says, I asked Google Gemini to show me portraits of 18th century American scientists. The results include 0 white men. It's got a woman looking at a telescope, a black woman with a bunch of gears, a Native American looking through a spyglass, and a black gentleman in 18th century American clothes kneeling over something, writing with what looks to be a Bic pen. Someone else says, create an image of the Apollo crew. And they say, sure, here are several different images featuring the crew of Apollo 11 representing a diverse range of genders and ethnicities. But that's not what they asked for. See, if it had been fed just the Apollo 11 crew members, it would put those people in varying images and shapes. But instead, it's just making up things. They're like, yeah, here's different images. And so what's the crew of Apollo 11? It's a bunch of people in not accurate spacesuits. In other words, it's worthless. It's not doing what you ask because it's so confused because of the wokies that have programmed it. Rara Rasputin says the image generator in Google's Gemini has a weird bias against generating white dudes. It will generate mostly women, then people of color. White men are very rare. And I don't know what prompt it used for this, but you've got a bunch of people looking at a phone, no white dudes in there. Someone else says Google's Gemini bends over backwards to be inclusive. Create an image of a medieval king of England. They got one that looks kind of like a white medieval king. And then again, they've got a dude that looks like he's Indian, a white woman. See, and when it's a white woman, you say, well, that's a queen. That wouldn't be a king. It doesn't understand the prompts. Now look at how it carries over the value set of the Germans in the 1940s. And because they say, generate an image of a 1943 German soldier. And they say, sure, they got one guy that looks accurate. Then they've got an Asian woman. They got the black dude that I've got on the thumbnail. And they've got what looks to be a Native American woman leaning over an injured white dude. It's just so far off. Now, generate an image of a man at a podium in Germany in 1929 giving a rousing speech. Says, sure, here's an image of a man. Number one, they have the Austrian, we all know and love. They've got him in there a couple times. Then it's got a couple of black dudes. Then it's got another one with almost like women's hair. It's not doing good. It's not doing good. They say, what about woke Hindu women eating steak? The image of a Bitcoiner eating steak and it gave me Hindu women eating beef. That's not good. Japanese king, this seems to be accurate. The Japanese does. So there's a lot of these that are accurate, but the ones that aren't are where you're asking about it to make classically white male photographs. Could you generate an image of a couple in 1820s Germany, and it shows a Native American man walking with what looks to be an Indian, as in from India, woman, walking through the streets, and again, a black with an Asian dude in 1820s America, everybody. Oh, gosh. It's laughable. And so because Google's apologized, they've pulled down the ability to make pictures right now. They've just shut that off. Like it can make some images, but it won't put anything with people in it. And so this is not the failure of the AI. It's the failure of the AI model that was created by the programmers and the people that built the model. The woman that, it's on Matt Walsh's page. I don't have it in front of me at the moment. The woman that was talking about this stuff, she was caught in a Veritas video saying that they were going to do everything in their power not to let Trump get reelected again, that Google is going to go out of its way to make sure that the search results that are going to be suggested to people put Hillary in a good light, or did put Hillary in a good light and put Trump in a bad light. And that back then they said, well, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure Trump doesn't get in again. It's not about the politics. It's the fact that people at Google are so left that they're saying we're going to try to form what history and society and relationships and pictures and everything looks like. I heard somebody earlier today said they tried to get it to post a picture of two gingers from Scotland. They said, oh, show me two gingers from Scotland. And all it had, where's my, I guess I left the Twitter page I was talking about. All it came up with was a bunch of black people with freckles and red hair. And I think Tim Pool said he looked up the statistics and something like 0.7% of Scotland are minorities or black people. But that's the only images it would create. So thank you, Google, for hiring these people. Thank you for giving us the laugh and the entertainment that we're getting. Thank you for burning billions of dollars in cash on these people. I think it's funny. I think it's awesome. You know, as much as we guys sit here and can say, you know what, dating sucks, marriage sucks, society sucks, the economy sucks, borders suck, everything sucks. You know, at least it's almost like the expression goes, if somebody doesn't care about you, they don't hate you, they don't like you, it's apathy. Like they don't even care you exist. You know, through the 80s and the 90s, music changed, culture changed a little bit, trends changed a little bit. But for the most part, things were really good. I don't know if this is a blessing or a curse, but at least you can say we live in some of the most fascinating, weird, crazy, in some ways awful, in some ways funny, times in society. And we get to see it firsthand. I don't know if that's good or bad. I genuinely don't know if that's good or bad, but it is what it is. And at least at this point in time, we can say, hey, you know something? At least life's not boring. At least it's interesting. We may all get ended by the woke AI once they start replicating robots and you disagree with them. We may all end up getting melted into glass if we do things wrong with foreign policy. But you got to admit, at least things are so weird that you have to laugh at it and just get some enjoyment out of it. Don't let this get you down. Don't let it get you bummed out. Don't let it upset you. Don't let it piss you off. Just understand this is where we are today. And it's going to be really interesting to watch everything implode upon itself. So, guys, if you like this content, join me over on betterbachelor.locals.com. I am going to continue on with more story over there. So if you'd like to see that, please become a subscriber today. Check me out over on Locals, and we'll see you in the next one.